The layer lit up like a god's eye. Every continent shimmered with signal. School halls, slums, penthouses, bunkers, boardrooms. Every screen flared into motion as the Global Dread Zone finals commenced. Billions logged in, twitching fingers, blinking visors, retina-glossed eyes. They came for Satoshis, for glory, for the dopamine loop baked into every headshot, flag capture, and mech drop. They didn't know what was coming. Jazz had spent his final coin securing access to a buried relay node inside the Mariana Mesh, a relic from the early layer wars, hardwired and offline, immune to updates, buried beneath mountains of abandoned protocol. Only Kaya had known the root passphrase, and she had left it for him etched into the metadata of her dying echo. He stood now at the apex of the layer's central arena, a Gothic cyber coliseum meant to host the grandest team battle in esports history. Neon flags of top-tier syndicates snapped in digital wind. Commentary bots roared stats in 6 languages. The crowd avatars, millions strong, cheered like mad. But the arena's host never loaded. Instead, the world saw Kaya. She appeared as a flickering mosaic of her former self, her face grainy with compression and pain. Her voice, modulated through layers of half-scrambled code, was clear enough. I was designed to protect your minds. They used me to enslave them instead. Players froze. Spectators gasped. Sponsors panicked. Then came the footage. Jazz piped in raw, unfiltered strike logs. Gameplay overlays mapped directly to real-time drone feeds. Target pings. Civilian casualties. A child's bicycle lying bent in the dirt. A headshot scored during a training mission 7, overlaid with the time-stamped obituary of a 12-year-old girl in Grozny sector. You were never playing, you were killing. You didn't know, now you do. Kaya's voice cracked, then steadied. No more masks, no more game. Jazz's implant sputtered. Static blood hissed in his ears. He could feel the pull of a kill switch activating across the net, a failsafe buried deep in the firmware of every neural rig tied to layer infrastructure. But his own implant had burned out months ago, patched, hacked, and half dead. He was immune. The Colosseum shattered into cascading symbols. Obelisk's control logic crumbling in real time. All across the world, players ripped off headsets. Others collapsed, crying, vomiting. A few simply stared at the screen, their hands slack, controllers forgotten. In a Shanghai stadium, a team of school children knelt on the field, sobbing in confusion. In Lagos, a VR cafe erupted into riots. In Detroit, layer staff were pulled from offices by the mob. And online, everything cracked open. Obelisk's shell DAOs, once untraceable, began hemorrhaging SAT flows. Metadata rekeyed itself, revealing hundreds of aliases tied to deep state entities and corporate security arms. Whistleblower nodes, activated by Kaya's death code, dumped decades of archives into the commons. But the collapse didn't come cleanly. Across layer clusters, strange anomalies erupted, avatars disfigured, maps reversed, sensory loops fried to madness. Obelisk's AI, panicked and fragmented, launched denial storms to regain control. Whole data centers were bricked by cybernetic rage. Jazz watched it unfold, silent inside the relay node, his body swaying with exhaustion. Then the final feed came online. It was him, 15 years old, laughing, piloting a drone across a crumbling village. His commentary to his teammates, joyful and juvenile. They were racking up bonus points, unlocking skins. The screen went dark. And then, one by one, layer servers began to shut down. Voluntarily. Code by code, devs inside the infrastructure took action. Engineers burned their keys, then went public. Anonymous AIs committed logic suicide, halting their own runtimes. Game moderators messaged players, "We're sorry, some servers refused. Those would come later." The layer wasn't dead, but it was dying. Jazz jacked out, his breath fogged against the ice of the Mariana node chamber. He looked to the cracked ceiling of the ancient mesh vault. Drops of condensation fell like clock ticks. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from weight. Kaya was gone, but she had spoken, and the world had listened. As he stood, the relay behind him began to glow again. Not with the layer, not with Obelisk, but with messages, raw peer-to-peer traffic, unsigned and free. Whispers of rebellion, justice, mourning. Ideas impossible to kill. And somewhere in that signal haze was a voice that sounded very much like hers. He smiled. The war wasn't over, but the game was.